So this machine here is the FormLabs Form2. Okay, it's now been superseded with the Form3, which has got a slightly bigger build volume. How it works, I'll lift it up. There's a liquid in here. Sure, a bit closer. Have a look here, so I can move it around. That's a liquid, and it's a photopolymer. So it'll convert from a liquid to a solid when it's exposed to ultraviolet light. And the exposure, you can see if we can take that off for a moment. It's clear in there, yeah. And there's a screen, and there's a laser pointer underneath that screen. And that laser pointer will cure each layer as it builds apart up. This is a build platform. Okay, this build platform is just an aluminium base. It's well used. Okay, so what it'll do, each layer, it will do a bit of a dipping process. It will go down to the build layer position. The ultraviolet laser will scan across and it will cure that particular layer. Then the build platform moves up. We've got a wiper here which wipes across, gets rid of any debris, makes a nice clean surface. Then it moves down again and it cures the next layer. So rather than the other way round, as you can imagine, here it builds the part up upside down. It's just basically building it up, and when it finishes, your part is upside down on the platform. You take it out, and we've got a wash station here, which is filled up with IPA, and that just washes any material off. Okay, so okay. The material is kept in these containers here at the back there. I'll go into that in a moment. So the software we're using is a FormLabs Preform. Okay, and I've opened it up previously. So very quickly I'm going to import a file. Now your desired file must be an STL file. Open. Okay, you might recognise that. That's the Loughborough University logo. Now, this process is quite particular on the positioning and orientation of the part. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first thing is, I'm going to orientate the part how I wish it to be printed. What I'm going to do is going to flip it up a bit like that, and a bit of an angle like that. So you might wonder, why would I build it that way rather than just a nice flat surface? And the reason is, when it dips in, there's a certain amount of stiction, if you like. So it goes down, and when you, say you put something big and flat onto a flat surface, you try to lift it off there, you get a bit of resistance there. But it's just the same here. So what we try to do is build it on different, just an orientation where there's a minimum amount of contact onto the surface of the build platform. That's in free space, so it could drop and move anywhere. So what we want to do, we want to secure your build part onto the build platform, and as well you might have some overhang issues which you get with other 3D printing processes, and you want to secure those in place as well. So we need to add the support structures. Okay. Very easy. I can just go on these support options on here. You can manually add supports. And here you can say how far each support structure is and how thick the point side is. What I'm just literally going to do is we're going to press auto generate. Take a few seconds. Okay, so that took a while. So it'll print off. Now what we can do is, we don't have to go with it, we can check it. Now what I've got going on here is, I can live with it. I've got some extra supports here, around here, so they'll have to be removed for later. My main concern is the print time is 18 hours, even though I've got the thickest layer height, which is 0.1 millimetres. But it's going to use about 350 mils of material, which is about 80 or 90 pounds. So that is a lot. So things I could do, well, I could redesign it. I could make the part thinner, create a shell from it, all sorts of things. But what we're going to do for this is just going to make it smaller, because it's just a nice thing to print. So what I'm going to do is stop this, and I'm going to press the scaling button, the sizing button, and I'm going to go for half the size, so 0.5. Okay. Now what you can see, the supports have now disappeared. Okay, so those old supports are now invalid. So press to get the support option again, and then it's going to go to generate. Okay. So I've resized it, put the supports in, and now the time was 18 hours. Now it's going to be 4 hours, 15 minutes. That's a lot more reasonable. And the amount of material used as well has gone from £90 to about £15. So I'm going to go with that now. Oh yeah, also I've got 3 little thumbs up here, so that's good news. So another time I'll go into. So I've got my 3 thumbs up there, so I'm happy. Now, to get the part onto the machine, you've got a couple of choices. You can either have network options or your USB stick. But what we've got here, we're basically hardwired, just using a USB. So I'm just going to press this button here, which is the start print button. And what it's done is just tell me how much material is in there, and the name and all that sort of thing. Okay, load job. So earlier I mentioned the cartridge here. So here it is. So you buy these online, and you've got a little slit in here which you won't be able to see. But basically, it keeps there's an injector which goes in there, and it keeps the level of resin perfect on the resin tank here. Okay, so I'll put that in there. Okay, now I'm just press print now, and it's giving me something to do. It says open a cartridge vent. So what I've got to do is make sure that top is open, which I'll do now. And it says check the build platform, and that is critical. Okay, so you've got to make sure, you know, we took it out earlier, so we're fine. But someone else might have left a part on there. Okay, and if you start it, it doesn't know that, so you can go down and you basically have a crash. Okay, so I've done that. So I'll press confirm now using the hard button here. Working well. So just to cover the chemical handling and things like that. It's the liquid in there can be a sensitizer to your skin. So if you're handling it, make sure you wear gloves. And when the part is finished, especially when you take the part out, it's all wet, wear gloves, wear a lab coat and eye protection. And when you transfer into the wash station, again, Make sure you're wearing appropriate PPE because of the IPA content. Okay then guys, so I've done it. It's finished. So it took a few hours, and it hasn't worked out this time. So that's disappointing. But there we go. So take it out. Okay, but I'll still go through the process. As you can see, got supports here. Alright, so they need to be removed, and you can use side cutters and that sort of thing, but ideally you just want to give it a clean first. Now, to take it off a build platform, you can just use a spatula and just basically pop it off the build platform, then put it into this basket here, or we can slide it on, press start. Okay, so this is, like I said, the IPA solution. So because now I'm handling chemicals, I've got my safety glasses on, my gloves, and a lab coat. Right, that takes 20 minutes, and when that's finished, that's it. Okay guys, so what I've realised, why it failed, I don't know if you can see, but just rope around. It's solid just there, just where the sun is. So what I need to do is move the machine out to a more shady position. So that's probably why the part failed.